can skip this one and put friends
for the
to add
future.
Session, we will talk more because emotions are very personal. As Belen said at some point in the beginning, this is a very personal experience. So that's why each of us know the best about our own emotions. And that's why we will talk more from our own experiences. And in the next activity, I will need 3 volunteers who will grab one of the emotions here. I have emotion cards. Belen, Thor, and one more. Okay. Yeah? It doesn't matter. They are random. Okay. So, what I will ask you now to do, to spend 1 minute thinking about a situation in which you or someone you knew felt that emotion. Yeah? And you'll try to explain to us in that situation, very specific to that situation, what was the role of that emotion and how did it help you or the other person who felt it. Okay? And when you share, the group, the rest of the group, they can help you. But Javi taught us something very important in the morning, yeah? So, if you want to step into the other person's shoes and react from there, you have to ask for permission. If you want to do it but you don't get the permission, you can imagine that you are in the other person's shoes, but you cannot express your opinions or not do anything. So, if the guys, they talk about their experiences or other experiences, and they need help and you want to help them, you will ask for help. And if they give you permission to step into their shoes, you can. If not, yes. About their lives, or if it's not so comfortable for them, they can share about another person that they know and they went through this situation. Okay? You can give them you can give them ideas about sorry, you can give them ideas about how that emotion helped them in that situation, or why did they feel that emotion, what was the role of that emotion in their life. Okay? But only if they let you. Okay, when you feel ready, any one of you, we can listen to you. We are open. Okay.
Yeah. So my emotion is disappointed. So I choose a simple thing. I was part of a psychology association in Portugal, national one, and we end our time, and no one wants to continue to work. So that for me is really disappointing, because we worked for some time, we tried to put things moving, and then there is no one to continue the work, and I'm not a student anymore. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you felt disappointed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What do you think was the function or the role of disappointment in that situation, and how did it help you?
Um, I think the role it was because I was expecting, I had more expectations, like someone would be with interest to continue and want to be a part of it. The disappointing helped me. I don't think it helped me. I just think that it was something that I thought. You can.
I think disappointment may help you to acknowledge your efforts during your work there.
Yeah, maybe it helped you to being stronger, to find a different way of doing the things you used to do and you wanted to do. I don't know, like, I mean, so to have a different step in your work.
Can I?
Yes.
Okay. The thing is not. I'm not disappointed because I have to leave with this because it's time. My disappointment is about no one in a psychology university in Portugal wants to do that and wants to be part of an association that represents all of us. That's for me it's disappointing. It's not about my role there.
Yeah, I understand.
Yes.
Maybe you realize that being in an association like that means a lot to you. And maybe you can create your own organization.
Okay.
And in order to continue to represent people's voice, maybe you can think about how to do more for the others and for you, feeling this disappointment.
So like I could create a program for awareness for the university students about these kind of things are important, so you should pay more attention.
My emotion is proud. Proud.
So you're proud.
And I find it a little bit hard, but then I thought about a time a few months ago. I was attending a course on storytelling, and at the end of the course we were learning tips on techniques about telling stories, tales and fairy tales and stuff. And at the end the final thing, the final day was to actually tell a story to the rest of the class. And I have never told a story before in public. I have talked in public but not tell a story that I learned and like learn the lyrics and all. And I did it and they congratulated me. They told me that it was really nice to hear me and that they felt the tale, and it made me feel proud.
Okay, thank you. Why do you think that you felt pride in that situation, and how did that help you?
I think I felt it because I was receiving a positive answer to something that I wanted to be received positively. Like I wanted a positive answer and I received it. So.
Okay.
Because you
How did it help you?
How did it help me? To do it again.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that can tell you something about you and how are you going to use this skill in your work with the students. Have you used it by now since you've learned it?
Yeah.
So maybe that's why you are proud, because you didn't do it only for yourself, but you can use it with the people you are working with, and that's also important for you.
Okay, thank you. I'm so glad that you got so many ideas, and as you probably thought about it before, this is not group therapy, but it was just an exercise to understand better what are the roles of the emotions in our lives, because sometimes even if we have, especially when we have negative emotions, we tend to push them away and to not want them in our lives. And few people realize that it's actually good for us to feel negative emotions in some moments. They can really help us. And that's why I insisted on this element, because I think this is the least developed in people. Okay. Now that, let's recap just fast what we've been through. So we've talked about which are the emotions and what are the elements of each emotion, yeah? And we've talked also about the function of each emotion and about how we know if an emotion is we were surprised and we all stopped to see what it is. Okay, and this helped to realize that it was not Carlos's stomach. Okay. So in the end, we talked about the functions of the emotions, and it's useful to have all of these in mind and to see how we can judge if some emotions are helpful for us in some situations and if they are not, and why. Yeah? So sometimes it happens that emotions are not very useful in that situation, as we've mentioned before. What do we do in that situation? Okay.
Elaborate here.
We try to chop it and analyze it and understand it. Why did I feel like this in this situation?
Okay. Cool.
You grab the feeling as soon as it comes and you ask yourself why you're feeling this, and you, very similar to what you said, you analyze why it's coming.
Okay.
Okay, so you try to search for the function of that feeling. Okay, thank you.
Or just go away for a few days in order to change perspective and get detached from the situation.
Yes.
I think it's important, let them be, and then analyze why they're here.
Okay, so kind of what Thor and Dylan said?
Yeah.
Okay. Other ideas? So you've mentioned some versions of how we can deal with some difficult emotions that are not helping us. Like going to a counselor or talking to someone or writing a journal or analyzing the situation or the emotions. Are all the strategies helpful for all emotions? No, unanimous. Why? Or how can we know which strategy is good for which emotion?
You feel it's something from inside you. If the emotion is good, you don't need to go to a counselor or a therapist. You are happy, you don't need to talk to a counselor.
How do you know if the emotion is good?
I think that you feel.
I think.
Okay.
Yes.
If the emotion is disturbing your life, you know, you can continue with your life and you are suffering or maybe hurting somebody, so you need to change.
So this is how you know if the emotion is good for you or bad for you. But how do you know if a strategy is good for one emotion or for the other, or not good for one emotion?
And the emotion change. Like it's not because they have.
I raised my hand but because of what she said. I don't like to think about emotions in good and bad because, for example, let's say sadness, it makes you feel bad, like you're sad and it's not super cheerful to feel sad, but it's not good or bad, it's there, it's happening and you need to deal with it but not avoid it. It's not bad that you are feeling sad.
This is the reason that I said that it depends on you and it's inside you if your sadness is good or bad, or you need help, or you need to choose something.
Okay, so maybe about emotions we can't really talk in terms of good and bad, but as we've discussed earlier, there can be some signals that the emotions are not helping us in that moment or in that situation. Okay. Yes. Other strategies, they can help or not help. Okay, and we realize if they help or not help by the consequences that they have in our lives. Did you notice that some strategies that we use to deal with our emotions are more effective than others? Did you notice that in your lives?
Yes.
Can we get some examples?
If I get really stressed or I am really like thinking too much, but stressed especially because for instance, for me the bodily sensation is like my hands are numb. I mean, numb. So I feel suddenly distressed. So for me it's not good to analyze maybe the situation in that moment. But if I go swimming for 1 hour, or like for me the exercise works. Like maybe others need to write in a diary or something like this. But I think it depends, as Leah has said before, it depends on the person and the situation. I mean, everyone has her or his strategies.
Yes.
Is this a thought that came with what you said, that maybe the stress is being useful for you because it's making you leave what you're doing, what's making you stressed, and go swimming?
Yeah, well, the point is like I understand it like the Gauss bell, you know, when I am in the peak and never mind what I'm doing, like I am fucked up. So the only thing I can, honestly, like the only thing I can do it for avoiding it is feeling it before and cut it before it is here, or waiting till it goes a little bit down. So, but in that moment, in this specific case, I go swimming. I could do different things.
There is something, but this is beyond the scope of this session. But different strategies can fit to different parts of the emotions. For example, you can do relaxation strategies when your tension is really high, or when you see that your emotion does not, the thing that your emotion tells you does not match the reality, you can change the thoughts. When you see that your emotion is telling you to do something that will hurt other people, you can change the behavior. So there are different strategies that match different parts of emotion. But this is, as I said, beyond the scope of this, so we'll not get into too much detail. But a very simple way to see which strategy is useful for a certain emotion in a certain moment is to see the consequences that that strategy will bring us. And about that, I will want to talk in the next